Um, as a lawyer, I'm also for the protection of intellectual property rights. Now, where do we draw the line? I'd be happy to invite you to a forum because I haven't really got. I mean, I don't mind if people quote my blog, no? As long as they, I mean, as long as they always quote the source. But I don't know if there are issues deeper than that. I mean, there may be other more special concerns that I'm aware of, and if that's ripe for a forum, let me know. And if it's ripe for a bill, I'll look into it. But I am for the protection of intellectual property rights without restricting naman the freedom of information. But always naman acknowledge the source, di ba? And don't get all the ads and then kawawa naman yung source, siya yung walang ads.
To follow up with the congressional initiative, you were saying a while ago, during your 6-year term, you just got a tenth of your wallet.
I'm guessing, I mean, a fifth, a tenth, an eighth, little, because the history there is, I think the first year I got most of it. The second year, I think, konti, I don't know what. But when my brother, Senator Alan, who was then a congressman, started really attacking Malacanang, I got no more fun. So when people ask me, why, you know, how do you feel about the two of you being in the Senate? Oh, that my brother has been a liability on my Senate life. First of all, I have to defend our existence. Secondly, nawalan ako ng pondo dahil sa kanya. So, I mean, I believe, I just to make it clear, I have full respect and I love my brother dearly. He's a great public servant. He does the fiscalizing aspect and I do a lot of the legislative work. So we work well together. But yes, because of him, nawalan ako ng pondo.
What's the reply of DBM when your staff are following about?
Ang sinasabi sa akin, putos ng Malacanang. Yep.
So, all your congressional initiative funds na revert sa National Treasury?
Parang ganun. Eh, sabi ko nga, saan naman lang kung alam namin, sabihin na lang sa amin directly na Senator Pia, yung 100 million mo na funds, we will just be used to put up classrooms in Tawi-Tawi. Fine, di ba? Or in Holo, fine. But tell me naman where it goes. And nakakahiya pa kasi you commit this to hospitals and they're waiting for it, di ba? That's part of their plan. So now I have to tell them, we'll put ito, we'll make a letter, 3 million for your contribution to your whatever, your OB-GYN or your pediatric needs. But pagdasal yun, I really say that, magdasal ho kayo kung kailan ma-release yan. I really say that, magdasal kayo, I really do, ask them.
Abang, next.
As a senator, how did you engage with the youth and how will you plan to engage with in the next 6 years?
A lot of things I do, I don't really parang plan on it. It kind of happens because that's my lifestyle. So in other words, if you told me how do you engage with the molecular biology society, I'll tell you that I have to think about. But like engaging with the youth, engaging with mothers like me, it kind of comes naturally because that's my lifestyle. So automatically I see them in sports events. No? I'm an athlete, I see them, cuento. I kind of sponsor to the best of my ability a lot of triathletes, runners. So I invite them to lunch like this, we make cuento. Nothing formal, but I kind of see where their issues are, their problems are. So one is to the sports arena. Two is I do try to when I do give talks in wherever part of the country I am. After my formal talk, then I have a Q&A, and then I sit down. So I just kind of try to get a feel of what's going on, and then translate that into legislation. So it's really wherever I am, wherever I go, talk to my daughters, their friends, and in the areas where I feel I'm competent in healthcare, education, environment, I try to engage them. So, for example, my daughters and their friends, I tell them, come with me, see what I do. Let's go visit a dump site or whatever. So a little bit, and then I see what their reactions are. So parang I just incorporate it in my lifestyle. And students are always welcome to my office. That's the other thing. I mean, in the Senate, a lot of people don't know, it's not that hard naman to go to the Senate. But if you want an appointment, make one. Otherwise, the students majorly do ambush interviews in the Senate. Major. Like, anong pakiramdam nyo sa ganyang issue? What? Like, 3 years ago na yan, sandali lang, let me review my notes.
How about the women abroad?
Oh, I've done quite a lot of work with migrant women. No? I don't know where to start. Well, in December last year, I chaired a session in the French Assembly for parliamentarians all over the world. Our issue was women, migrant women and violence. So I chaired it, and then I presented the situation of Filipino migrant women who not only are subjected to violence when they're abroad, but they're in their homes. Their young children have no mothers. No? So I've been working on this, and what I feel really proud about is the fact that here I was sitting with about 100 members of parliament from Europe, no, from all different countries, and they were all there because they express concern for their constituents who are also Filipino. I mean, not Filipino women, but migrant workers. No? Kasi in Europe, ang dami ng migrant workers, and not just Filipinos, but all over. So here they were, supposedly very progressive legislators from all over Europe. And then I said to them, do you know that none of you have signed the Social Security Agreement with the Philippines? In other words, as you profess that you will look after the welfare of our migrant workers, you have not signed the document that ensures that they will receive the same kind of social services that your nationals receive. And they're all like, really? We didn't know that. Thank you, Senator Cayetano, for letting us know, blah, blah, blah. So parang for me, that was a milestone in my work representing women and representing migrant workers. This is the job of DFA. This is not my job, and DFA has been doing their part. But you need the other countries to sign that document, no, to agree. So I'm kind of in the back seat, but trying to raise awareness and pushing it to the best of my ability. And the other thing I'm working on, which will have to happen in the next Congress, is there's a gap now between PhilHealth and OWA, because before OWA used to hold their funds, but they gave their funds to PhilHealth to use for the workers, except that if you are not registered in PhilHealth, which you will not be if you are overseas, you cannot avail of healthcare services when you come home. So when I was in Hong Kong, I met with this group of women, all cancer victims, and it's in my blog, mydailyrace.com. And that was their problem. Some of them, their employers were kind enough to continue their employment, and they were able to get healthcare services from Hong Kong. Mura-mura, parang $10 lang per chemo, sagot, subsidized yun.
Wow.
But if their employment was terminated, they'll go back home and they have zero because they don't even have PhilHealth. And that's because the funds nga were transferred, and yet they're not members because walang PhilHealth office in the consuls. Kind of parang mind-boggling na how could we have that kind of lapse, no? So that's what it is. There was a move to use the OWA funds to create a OFW hospital. I actually opposed it because I felt one physical structure, one hospital in Metro Manila will not address these problems. What you want to have is these OFWs from all over the country to have access in public hospitals to get the services that they need. So, yun. So, that's another aspect of my work which I feel is cut out now. I just have to attend to it when session resumes, and hopefully I'm there.
You have a question?
Hello po, I'm Peter Batsar from Voice of the Youth Network. I'm the Managing Director of Voice of the Youth Network, all over the Philippines po. Para tanong ko lang po is, some of our colleagues in EWD po, ano po sila, graduates po sila lahat, but unfortunately, wala silang makuha ang tamang trabaho para sa OWA. They discourage us to have a work.
They what?
Discourage po kami.
okay.
Bali hindi kami sinasama sa mga, minsan sa mga, nagka-apply kami ng work. But, nagkakaroon ng segregation.
You're talking about PWDs?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Well, I actually am I don't know if you heard, but I sponsored and the law just passed on creating the Office of Persons with Disabilities all over. So that I feel will increase opportunities, because whenever you have a marginalized sector that is united under one office, you have a stronger voice, diba? So one, I hope that will address it. And number two, by all means, I'm happy to dialogue with you on how we can increase awareness, because it's really on the part of the employers, to understand and to make adjustments in the same way that my law on breastfeeding was just signed 2 weeks ago, no? That's 5 years in the making. Can you believe it? Kasi nung 13th Congress, hindi pumasa sa Senate, hindi pumasa sa House. So I had to refile, and then anyway, pumasa. But in the same way that we need employers to acknowledge that breastfeeding women have special needs, therefore you have to adjust. This goes back to my gender